Hi, this is your host, Michael J. Long, for Michael's Libertarian Pizza Party at 3:56 p.m. on June the 9th, 2021. And thank you for joining me. I truly and sincerely appreciate it. Alright, so I got some advice before I begin. Let's get started. So if you like any of my videos, if not all of my videos, it doesn't even have to be all my videos, it can just be some, few of my videos, whatever the case may be. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing. That's right, please consider subscribing today. It really matters. Alright, so without further ado, let's switch gears for a second, for now. I got something you're probably going to want to see. Now, I've done a video on this a while back, but apparently I didn't get the audio on it. So this article was written on May 17th. So this was just last month of this year. Last month by Anthony D. Orzalio. I can't even say his name right. Last name right anyways. Good old Anthony. Libertarian Party of New York advises rejection of proposed school budgets increases ahead of today's vote. So apparently that was the day that they were doing school budget votes. So Anthony, the blogger for the Libertarian Party of New York, puts it like this. Budget plans would raise New York State's average per pupil expenditure, already the highest in the county, at nearly $25,000 by more than 4%. Wow. Albany, New York, May 14th, 2021. School districts across New York State are set to hold their annual budget vote on Tuesday, May 18th. All districts that are subject to public vote have submitted to the voters proposed budgets for the 2021-2022 school year, which voters must decide whether or not to adopt. Residents in New York City, meanwhile, and Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, and Yonkers do not vote on school budgets, as those city charters reserve school budget allocation and approval to their respective city councils. In most districts, school board elections are also being held, many of them for nonpartisan. According to the Empire Center of Public Policy for Collective Budget Plans, would raise New York State's average per pupil expenditure, already the highest in the country at nearly $25,000 per capita, by more than 4%. These additional expenditures come despite declining public school enrollment, which are expected to fall more than 1.5% this fall. The Libertarian Party of New York's chair, Cody Anderson, urged voters to remain vigilant as they head to the polls. It is outrageous that the school districts and their union masters suggest increasing spending by over 4% for an underperforming system whose enrollment continues to decrease, Anderson stated. The drain of more than 1 million residents from New York during the past decade is in large part due to continued yearly increases in school taxes, resulting in the outrageous per-student expenditures, yet mediocre educational outcomes. So given that equally outsized increase in federal funding directly to school districts and the past year of children learning at home and not in the schools, it is irrelevant for local school boards to continue raising taxes and driving residents away, and for teachers and unions to engage in optimistic money power grab. We urge taxpayers statewide to send a strong message to the school boards by voting no on their school budgets. Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that. And so Tony's also the vice chair of the Libertarian Party of New York and public engagement director. So he's the one that writes these blogs for the site. So, without further ado, this was just last month, so I wouldn't be surprised if most school boards approved it, because most voters are like, who cares? I'm a liberal Democrat. Who cares? I'm a Republican conservative. And so they all probably went to the polls and they probably voted for it, despite the fact that these school budgets are way out of proportion. Look, I mean, they want like thousands of dollars just to have like a I don't even know how to explain it. It probably got passed last month in most school districts throughout the state. Now, think about it like this. They increase the school taxes. And what happens if you don't pay the school taxes? Well, they come and they take your property that you already own, and they say, bye-bye, we're evicting you. Get out your house, even though you own it, already paid the bank and all of its mortgage and everything on your part. You still gotta pay school taxes. And even if you pay every other tax, and if you don't pay school taxes, they come and evict you and they sell your property to the next bidder who's willing to pay school taxes. And so then the school teachers union say, yeah, we want thousands of dollars for all our teachers, but then our administrators are going to get more. Oh, but by the way, you know, blah, 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 blah. We got to pay for all these teachers millions and millions and millions of dollars, and then trillions more for wasting, you know, curriculums that don't make no sense, and for administrators to sit there and tell the teachers what they can and can't do, and a bunch of other nonsense, if you ask me. And so, you know, they're always, of course, revamping their computer networks, and most schools that have them. So it varies. And yet they have, most schools in this state, here in New York, don't have proper air conditioning, from what I gather. So they're sitting there sweating throughout the day. Now, this is not good for the students. It's not good for the teachers, you know. But, we're not going to fix the air conditioning, but let us vote on thousands and thousands of dollars for needless BS, that if you don't pay for it, we're going to take your property. So, something to think about. And so, yeah, that's just something to think about, right? Because, you know, I mean, who knows how much waste these school boards push through. And then they want you to vote for it. And then if it's approved by a majority of voters, it doesn't matter how many voted against it, you're going to get a line of garbage out of it for the students that aren't going to benefit from it. And, you know, you very rare, like, you know, some school districts, I guess, are cutting sports out of their budgets. And so then if you want to continue sports, you got to fundraise to pay for the equipment, the coach, and whatnot. So good. Let's do that. And let's also cut, I don't know, like, you know, I don't even, like, they send them in the mail to the voters, right? Sometimes. Sometimes they want you to go to the polls and vote for it. And it's budgets that cost, I don't know, $10,000 that end up costing the state $25,000. And I don't know. I mean, it's just mindless that people vote for it. And it doesn't necessarily benefit the students or the taxpayers, I guess is the point I'm trying to say, because a lot of it goes on teacher raises and administrator raises And none of it goes on air conditioning. None of it goes on, anything else. And if you think about it, if you're a student here in New York State, going to elementary school, middle school, and high school, whatever, you want to leave school, where's the fence that goes around the school? I wouldn't pay for a fence to go around the schools, but they could technically leave the school grounds, even though they're not supposed to, but, whatever, right? That's why they invented truant officers, but, yeah, I'm not going to push for a fence around the schools, because then that's going to, turn them into prison grounds, right? But there's never any security guards out there patrolling the school grounds, at least. And I don't expect them to, but, these school budget allocations, it's a lot of money. It costs the state a lot of money, and, most of it is, I can understand math, reading, writing all the way up to 3rd grade. And then once you learn 3rd grade math, the rest is easy, right? And you don't need to learn, math after that. Once you know 3rd grade math, that's it. You know the basics, all right? So let's cut all that other shit out, in other words, right? But that doesn't happen. And so, yeah, a lot of it goes on teacher and administrator pay increases. And then a lot of it goes on needless curriculums, and while it's good they cut sports out of the curriculum of funding, they should probably find other ways to pay for the teacher increases or staffing or curriculums that they want to propose, so that you pay as little in school taxes as possible. But all in all, we gotta charge each of the counties probably thousands of dollars in school taxes, however much the amount is. So I wanted to touch base with that, given that my last video on that, the audio wasn't working. So I'm hoping that this audio works. I'm Michael J. Long, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.